Thank you for agreeing to be interviewed for Black, Gay, Lesbian, Transgender Historical Society. Appreciate it. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Dane Lewis. Gay Jamaican, very involved in the community at different levels.
So, Dave, you're born and raised here.
Born and raised, have lived all of my life except about 18 months I went to New York to study recording engineering and production, and thought I would get into the music biz, but had a change of heart.
And came on back to Jamaica and decided to be a part of talk about your organization.
Well, there are a number of things that I've been involved with that have been a part of the movement, so to speak. In 2006, which is post my times volunteering with JFlag, was establishing a group on the University of the West Indies Mona campus called Pride in Action. We wanted a space for both staff and students of the community to come together, talk about issues relevant to the community, also to begin to create space for the community. As you know, in many other universities internationally, you may have a gay-straight alliance. We wanted to create the same kind of space, society, group on campus, and we were able to do that.
So the birth of it was out of the university?
Well, the birth of JFlag predates all of that. This is back in the 90s.
Right.
There was actually a group of regional activists came together, talking about a lot of them were doing work around HIV/AIDS at the time, and felt that there was need for these advocacy groups to emerge, also to separate the issue away from HIV advocacy,
Right.
In an effort to sort of de-link the two.
Right.
And so basically we began in the late 90s with a group of volunteers. We started with a helpline, really just trying to get things.
And JFlag, what does JFlag stand for?
And JFlag isn't used anymore, but it was the Jamaica Forum for Lesbians, All Sexuals and Gays. So we don't...
Say that again?
Exactly. The Jamaica Forum for Lesbians, All Sexuals and Gays. The All Sexuals was what the issue was. And of course this
All sexuals?
Right, so this predates LGBTQ
Okay.
plus.
Right.
And so trying to find an all-encompassing word, and the detractors really have twisted that and sort of used it to include other things like pedophilia. And so we had to literally just work with the acronym. Right. Without saying what it was. Everybody understood what JFlag was about.
Right. Because in America it's P-flag, and that's parents with
for
gays,
lesbians,
something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Something
right.
Like that.
And even before JFlag started in the 90s, there was actually a group called the Gay Freedom Movement, started by Larry Chang and a group of his friends back in the 70s when I was born. So we've had iterations. JFlag as an advocacy organization still exists. They are part of an umbrella group now called Equality for All Foundation, which has sort of broadened its scope in terms of trans issues, youth-related issues.
So when did the actual first Pride happen?
2015, we basically took Pride to a national level.
Okay.
And
where did it start at? It started in Kingston, it started in Montego Bay?
Well, we started in Kingston, and there are actually two different prides that happen. There's Pride...
At the same time?
No, different times of year. So Pride JA happens largely in Kingston. It does happen in other parts of the island, but then Pride Mobay is actually based in Montego Bay, and that usually happens around this time of year, the Heroes Weekend. So usually in October. And traditionally what we've done is for a number of advocacy reasons, choose significant dates. So Pride JA happens around the Independence period, the 1st to the 6th of August. And then Mobe Pride happens in October.
Are there any heroes in the that are LGBT that are displayed like I've seen on television? I've seen the advertisements of heroes and what they've accomplished and what they've done. Are there any LGBT people included in that list?
No, there certainly aren't. I think we are light years away from there.
Okay.
We're still grappling with issues of even recognizing our cultural ambassadors, Bob Marley and Louis Bennett, as national heroes. We're light years away from.
But you're still having Pride, though.
Yes, we are still having Pride.
And, I mean, I'm not saying that it's a big old celebration like in America, but the fact that you guys are still accepting the level that you are and progressing and moving forward.
Absolutely. Pride continues. And Pride for us is not a parade. We know that many...
Right, exactly. Let's clear that up. It's not a parade.
Right. In many spaces, Pride is recognized as a big parade, and everybody's involved. For us, Pride is a week of activities.
A comfortable space to display yourself.
Right, and different activities that also demonstrate the variety in the community. So we have a number of different things.
So, like, for example, during that week, what was something that you could do that would be LGBT?
So we usually start with a sports day. That's
sports? LGBT sports?
Running, basketball, netball, cheerleading.
I would love to see the cheerleaders.
Oh yes, we've had some interesting groups. They all put on their costumes. They come out. Everybody has a grand time.
I could imagine.
Yeah, and track and field events, and we've also included things like football in the past. Since COVID, we really haven't, to my recollection, had any actual that full set of activities because of the
because the last time I was here in 2018, and I remember the Pride happening in 2018, and that was it. That's when I got sort of involved and excited and thought I was going to come back in 2019 and film and do all that, and then the pandemic happened and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, hopefully next year when we get a bit of an ease, we'll have a bit of different kind of experience around Pride. But as I say, every year it usually is a range of activities. So you may start with a sports day. We may have a forum. So we get an opportunity to discuss, anything that's relevant to the community. We've had trade fairs so that LGBT business owners get a chance to showcase their works. We have talent show. We have a lot of talented people in the community. So it's, always a range of things spread across the week that allow people to partake of different things. This year, JFLAG did a very interesting concept, something called Pride Share, which allowed for different persons to put on different events so that everybody could own a piece of Pride. Okay. And so, people did different things. A paint and sip event was one interesting thing that was new.
And that's a week of events here in Kingston.
Yes, largely in Kingston. I mean, we've had in other spaces, Ocho Rios or in Mandeville. But Jamaica Pride happens in August, and that's around between the 1st and the 6th. That's Emancipation Day, and Independence Day is the 6th, so usually during that week. And then Mobe Pride, which usually happens in October around the Heroes Weekend.
And Mobe is what, short for?
Montego Bay. Montego Bay is our second city, yes.
Right, and that's the touristy city of Jamaica where
that's right.
Everybody goes and hangs out. And most people don't come to Kingston other than doing business, right?
Well, right, and so it's also another big business district, so people, there's a lot of business happening that side of the island as well. And so those are almost as far as east from west.
So there's two organizations organizing Pride in Jamaica. So we can say that Jamaica is on the move.
It is. I mean, and it certainly is not the Jamaica that we've heard about back in the 90s. You
Right.
know, there have always been spaces for the community to come together. Different persons at different times have had maybe club spaces or party spaces.
Right, that's what I was going to ask. Are there any gay clubs? Then?
We don't have any now, but at different times we certainly have had.
You have had.
Yes.
And you have gone to a gay.
Yes, I have, because it's necessary. You know, we all need a space to be ourselves.
And it, I'm asking the question. It was a safe space, and you felt safe enough to go. That's what I'm getting at.
You know, you have your usual trepidations.
Right.
You know, your concerns about how safe it is, but then you know you figure out where it is. We have never, certainly over my 40 odd years, certainly since I came out in my late teens, you know, we've always had party spaces. And
Okay. What about LGBT crime against LGBT people? Is that talked about?
and so we do have hate crimes. Thankfully, people aren't being murdered every day as used to be reported. Things are progressing. I think that also the levels of tolerance have increased.
And how's the transgender community?
They're still bearing the brunt of homophobia and transphobia that the community experiences.
Because in America, transgender is the orange is the new black thing. So you know, it's transgender everything now. They even voted on which bathrooms they can use. So.
Yeah, we're light years away from gender neutral bathrooms, but you know, we're slowly making progress. I mean, as I said, things aren't where they were in the 90s. You know, people being chased by mobs.
And that's what people want to know, that the LGBTQ community can come to Jamaica and feel safe and loved and enjoy themselves and have a good time.
And come and be a part of Pride every year.
Every year, yes.
Yes.
Yes, let's make it happen. Bring America to Jamaica Pride.
That's right. Come and experience the Jamaican flavor to Pride, is what I'd call it. Yes.
Now, is there anything else that you'd like to tell me? I think
I know that a lot of persons always say, oh, they're not going to come because the laws haven't changed. The laws don't preclude you from coming and enjoying. Even if you want to come as a tourist and maybe you feel safer in an all-inclusive, come and enjoy. Do step outside of your hotel space. See Jamaica. It's not the Jamaica that was painted back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, because to me, coming to Jamaica and staying on an all-inclusive resort and not seeing the community of Jamaica is silly to me. Because to me, as an American, I could stay at home and see that.
And do that, exactly.
You know what I mean? I can stay at home and sit on the beach and see everybody else. I want to see black people. I want to eat Jamaican food. I want to immerse myself into the community. And I also want to feel safe. And so I can say that my experience here has been that. Even meeting the LGBT community on a personal level, most of them have been very cordial and wanting to meet me and wanting to talk and not a hustle thing.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
you got any money or you're doing it, not that sort of thing. I haven't been approached like that.
You see, because we need more of you to come experience, go back and say, yes, it's not.
And that's why I do this.
It's not what the media has portrayed.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we can't rely on the media.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. Is Jamaica poor?
Look around us. No. There are poor people in Jamaica. Of course, that's a reality everywhere in the world. Just the disparities between rich and poor exist in many spaces.
Well, my job is to bring black people to Jamaica, black straight people, black gay people, to experience the authentic Jamaica. And Kingston, and this place, and other places like this would be ideal for us to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's a lot of, now with COVID, there's not necessarily a lot of nightlife that's happening.
So we've decided to say that Jamaica is not a poor country.
It certainly is not.
That idea that Jamaica is this third world country, you're out of your mind.
No, we've abolished that concept. We're still developing.
We're all a developing country. We all are.
In many ways, but there's so much opulence to come and experience.
Well, with that, I will thank you so much for your time. I
It's been my
appreciate
pleasure.
you.